and say no ice on Terminal Island. My grandfather was born in Los Angeles in 1920. In 1942, he joined the U.S. military. During the time of his service, his relatives were moved into internment camps in Arizona. My family understands what forced displacement and mass incarceration looks like. My grandfather is the one who taught me to stand up for values of peace, justice, equality, and compassion. Living in San Pedro, I have seen how neighbors stand up for each other when someone is ill, when someone is struggling, or when people are scared. San Pedro is a community born out of immigration. Croatian, Italian, and Mexican migrants moving to make their lives and blend their cultures in our hamlet by the sea. We protect each other and we defend this slice of Los Angeles. My experiences in San Pedro and my love for this community led me to organize the Harbor Area Peace Patrols, a group of neighbors, parents, educators, and concerned citizens with the support of San Pedro Neighbors for Peace and Justice and the Community Self-Defense Coalition. We are peaceful and law-abiding citizens who monitor ICE activities in our neighborhoods and educate our neighbors about their constitutional rights. We are greatly disturbed by the use of Terminal Island, a place already haunted by legacies of displacement and discrimination, to carry out this wave of terror in our city. Despite the intimidation and aggression of these agents operating in Los Angeles, we will continue to show up for this cause because we love San Pedro. We love LA. We are the ones who will self-determine our destinies in the United States of America. Thank you.
I'm a member of Nikkei Progressives. We're a grassroots, multi-generational community organization, mostly based out of Little Tokyo, but also throughout Los Angeles. And we're dedicated to fighting for justice and solidarity with others. My grandmother actually lived and worked on a farm about less than 10 miles from here in Harbor City before being forced during World War II into the American concentration camps.
And so while my family wasn't from here, from Terminal Island, they too had their lives ripped away from them because of what was later acknowledged by the US government as race prejudice, war hysteria, and a failure of political leadership. So when I and other Japanese Americans heard that ICE was using this area right behind us, right in front of me, as a staging ground for agents to go out and kidnap community members again, we were appalled. As other folks have mentioned, Terminal Island was once a vibrant community from the 1800s till World War II, at one point reaching 3,000 Japanese immigrants. And while the physical community was displaced, to this day, Terminal Islanders continue to speak out to preserve their history, with this monument behind me being a testament to their dedication and their resilience. In the testimonies that the Terminal Islanders made in the 1980s to the Commission on Wartime Relocation and the Internment of Civilians during our community's fight for redress and reparations, Terminal Islanders recalled the fear from the sudden and invasive presence of government agents immediately following the bombing of Pearl Harbor. And because of racist fear of Japanese espionage, never proven, along the coast and the isolated community's proximity to a naval shipyard, first-generation Japanese American men were among the first to be rounded up by the FBI, an action that was justified using the same Alien Enemies Act that Trump used this year to deport migrants illegally. Almost all of the fathers were taken away, leaving families who had no idea when they would be reunited. And in his testimony, Mas Tanibata recalls seeing a mother with 5 children just sitting down and crying. And Henry Murakami talks about how he was a fisherman who was denied access to his boat, his livelihood. And in February 1942, he was picked up by the FBI, who would not even allow him to put on his shoes, and dragged him out with what he said hizoris, his sandals, on, and he ended up in Bismarck, North Dakota, in 30 degree below zero weather, forced to leave behind a pregnant wife and his children. Kuniko Sato, a teenager, testified that she carried her birth certificate with her to go to high school in Terminal Island to prove that she was a citizen. So, circumstances change, but if you think that this all sounds eerily familiar to this moment, so do we. The US government continues, as it always has, to enact state-sanctioned violence against immigrant communities of color, and they're trying to silence people's resistance using the courts and the military, but the people are fighting back. They're showing up in mass to prevent kidnapping by masked and armed agents, and they're keeping the eye on the streets every day, like the people who are testifying here today. So we speak out in defense of those who are being targeted now, not just because our families needed allies and accomplices during World War II, but because it is the right thing to do. and we believe in the dignity and human rights for all, and the right to due process regardless of immigration or citizenship status. So whether it's organizing Know Your Rights trainings and rapid response networks, or being a part of the fight to close Adelanto Detention Center, a place where migrants are currently being held and denied food, clean clothing, phone calls, and legal aid, Nikkei Progressives believes that we must struggle in solidarity with others for a more just society. So we encourage all who are here and who are listening, who believe in justice and democracy, to join us with others, to protect our communities and our neighbors. And moments like this remind us how important it is to find like-minded people and stand together to fight for justice and safety for all. So we call for ICE out of Terminal Island and ICE out of all of our neighborhoods. Thank you.
So we are standing here on hallowed ground. Terminal Island represented what my grandfather Gengoto was hoping to find when he emigrated here from Japan. It was a place that would give him an opportunity to create a new life for himself, to work hard and raise a family. It represented his American dream, the same as the other Terminal Islanders and the same as the migrants who are being rounded up and incarcerated today. My grandfather eventually left the fishing industry and started a chain of produce stands, and so he moved his family out off Terminal Island into San Pedro. It was there in the summer of 1941 that he was first visited by FBI agents. The next time they visited him was the evening of December 7th, 1941, when they ripped him away from his family and sent him, a man who had done nothing wrong, to be jailed in a series of prison camps run by the Department of Justice. He would not see his family again for another 3 years. When he rejoined his family, he rejoined them at a camp in Colorado. Today, ICE is going around and arresting people for doing the same thing as my grandparents, trying to make a better life for themselves. Some people will argue that it isn't the same because my grandparents were here legally. If that's the case, why were they incarcerated? If they haven't done anything wrong, then why was my grandfather separated from his family for 3 years? If they hadn't done anything wrong, why did they have to lose most of their possessions and be forced to live in what are essentially prison camps until the Supreme Court finally ruled that the relocation, and I use that in quotes, of Japanese Americans was illegal? The answer you always heard then and hear now is it's national security. The undocumented people that are being arrested and deported because they are murderers and drug dealers. No. The woman selling fruit in the street cart at First and Spring is not a drug dealer. She just wants to feed her family. The men picking strawberries in Oxnard and Orange County fields are not serial killers. They're not dangerous fentanyl dealers. Dishwashers, cooks, meat processing plant employees, day workers, gardeners, housekeepers. They all just want life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Think about these jobs for a second. Now imagine what their life is like in their country of origin to travel hundreds of miles, risk being robbed or killed, risk being arrested in order to get a difficult, low-paying job. They're not here for easy money. They are not here to cause problems. They just want a chance. We stand here today to protest these heartless policies of our federal government and of their enforcement by ICE. Within the stone's throw of the fishing village that was filled with law-abiding, hardworking people, ICE is using Terminal Island to stage their daily raids. We need to stop this cycle of hate. We need to change our immigration policy so that everyone benefits. We need to get ICE out now. Thank you.